Okay, number 9 on the back side of the sheet. I actually talked about it in a video your last day at home. So we started it. We talked about you can cross multiply, and then once you cross multiply, then you need to multiply out the brackets. And then once you do that, you're going to group like terms, and you get down to 5x squared plus 14x plus 1. Now in all the other ones, the x squared terms canceled, but in this one it doesn't. Okay, and because of that, it's going to have two answers. Whenever there's just an x in the equation, there'll be one answer, but when there's an x squared, there'll be two answers. Now in grade 10 math, you would have learned to factor something like this, and then you could find the two answers by setting x plus 4 equal to 0 and setting x plus 2 equal to 0. And then you could sub these back in and find out that they worked. But in this one in number 9, it's not going to be easy to factor this. It's actually going to be impossible. So we have another tool in our toolkit. It's called the quadratic formula, which you'll be learning before too long in math. And so in order to use the quadratic formula, you have to rewrite your quadratic equation in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c. Then you pick out the a, the b, and the c, and you plug them into the quadratic formula. Okay, so if we go back then to number 9, we had cross multiplied, so we had x plus 3, 3 minus 2x is equal to x plus 2, 5 plus 3x. And now you're going to cross multiply and get 3x minus 2x squared plus 9. First outer, whoops, I didn't do it in the order that we usually do it in, minus 6x. Sorry about that. And then in this side, 5x outer plus 3x squared inner plus 10 last plus 6x. Okay, and so now take all your terms to one side. So we bring our negative 2x squared over, it becomes positive. So it's going to be 5x squared. 3x minus 6x is minus 3x. And so when we bring it over here, wait, there's not a squared on this. When we bring it over here, we had 5x, and okay, so we're left here with, I took my 2x over, left here with negative 3x plus 9. And on this side, we have plus 11x plus 10, okay? So now we're going to bring our 3x over, it becomes plus, so it'll be 5x squared plus 14x. And we're going to bring our 9 over and subtract it, so this will be plus 1. And that'll be equal to 0. So there's our quadratic equation. And remember, it needs to line up with ax squared plus bx plus c. So that means then that a is 5 and b is 14 and c is 1. So a equals 5, b equals 14, c equals 1. So we go to our quadratic formula, which is x is equal to negative b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac, all divided by 2a. And I know you don't know that yet. I know you don't have it, know it off by heart the way I just rhymed it off. And anytime we go to use it, I'll put it on the board, we'll talk about it, you'll get better at it, so don't stress. So where the negative b is, we fill in the negative 14. Plus or minus square root b squared. So that's going to be 14 squared. Minus 4a, which is 5, times c, which is 1. All over 2 times a, which is 5. So x is equal to negative 14 plus or minus square root 14 squared. And 14 squared is 196 minus 4 times 5 times 1 is 20, divided by 2 times 5, which is 10. So x is equal to negative 14 plus or minus the square root of 176 over 10. Now I think you would have learned in grade 10 math that you can't leave this root as when it has perfect squares in it. And it does have a perfect square in it. 4 will go into it. Actually, 4 will go into it twice. So if you were to take your calculator and you were to do 176 divided by 16, which is 4 twice, you find out that it's 11. So this is the same as minus 14 plus or minus the square root of 16 times 11 over 10. And so then you could, 16 is a perfect square, so you could pull it out. So plus or minus 4 root 11 over 10. Now if this was math, you would leave it like this. You would say one number, x was equal to negative 14 plus 4 root 11 over 10. And the other answer would be x is equal to 14 minus 4 root 11 over 10. In physics, when we do this, we're probably looking for time or something, and if I said how long did it take and you told me negative 14 plus 4 root 11 over 10 seconds, that wouldn't do a lot in my life. So we'd probably punch this in the calculator to find out what it is. So you would take like the square root of 11 and then multiply it by 4 and then add plus 14 negative and then divide by 10. Okay, and that would give you one answer, and then you would do exactly the same thing only with the negative. But for right now, I'm just trying to get you to see, to use the quadratic formula, so we won't worry about that. If we were to leave it like this, we'd probably actually reduce it because 2 goes into everything, so it becomes 7 plus 2 root 11 over 5, and negative 7 minus 2 root 11 over 5. Okay, good. So I know, a little crazy, you haven't seen it before, but try not to stress too much. We'll use it when we do physics problems, and it'll get better, and then you'll see it in math and you'll be like, oh, we've been doing this in physics tons. So don't worry, not going to give you a test on it or anything like that. So all shall be well. Number 10. 7 plus 6 plus a over a minus 3 is equal to 5a minus 9 over a minus 3. It's a fraction. This time the denominator is a minus 3, so I would multiply everything by a minus 3. So the 7, this term, and this term. Okay, so when you multiply the 7 by a minus 3, you get 7 brackets a minus 3. When you multiply this second term by a minus 3, the a minus 3's cancel, and you're just left with 6 plus a. And when you multiply this term by a minus 3, again the a minus 3's cancel, and you're left with 5a minus 9. Multiply through by the 7, 7a minus 21 plus 6 plus a is equal to 5a minus 9. 7a plus a is 8a. 21 plus 6 is minus 15 is equal to 5a minus 9. Bring the 5a over to this side. Bring the 15 over to this side. So when you bring the 5a over, it subtracts and you get 3a. When you bring the 15 over, it adds. So 15 minus 9 will be 6. Divide both sides by 3. A equals 2. Okay? Sound good? All right, I'll do a separate video for the guys on the bottom of the sheet.